Don't miss your flight tomorrow. Enjoy retirement. You. That's what Rieko Ioane, the highly rated All Black, said to Johnny Sexton almost a year ago to the day in that famous quarter-final match where Ireland lost and crushed a nation. The comments have now been made public in Johnny's new up-and-coming book, which is called Obsessed. I thought it was public knowledge. I thought people knew that this was said, but it's caused absolute outrage and beef and discussion all around the globe, which I like. I enjoy a little bit of beef, I'll be honest. Before we get going into this episode, if you're liking the Big Jim Show, please follow the page. Please comment, please interact. Give us your thoughts, give us your opinions. Producer Jimmy will regulate them. If any of them are nasty, and he'll send me on the good ones. He's a good lad. But off the back of these comments now, the integrity of the All Blacks' no dickhead policy have been put into question. Johnny Sexton saying the All Blacks' no dickhead policy, it doesn't exist. Challenging that policy because Rieko Ioane said to him after the match, don't miss your flight tomorrow, enjoy your retirement, you. So it's all blown up. And the big thing around this is there's a real grudge and a real rivalry forming between the two teams. And it's great to see, especially with the up-and-coming game on November 8th at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. Rieko Ioane has come out and he's posted, albeit quietly, it's an image that has gone viral of himself and Johnny Sexton with a Joker card above his head and the Cranberries song that went famous and blew up during the World Cup. In your head, in your head. Hell of a note there, thank you. Zombie by the Cranberries, which was later turned into Rassy, 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 he. I reached out to Rieko Ioane for comment and there was no comment. There was no comment from Rieko Ioane. But I do love a little bit of beef. Like I said, rugby needs a little bit of that. But there was loads of stuff happening in the lead up to that game, as we know. The game in Chicago all them years ago, which was mega for the game in America as a whole. But there was a lot of emotion in the lead up to that game. And as we know, Ireland won. They weren't the team that they have been recently. They're currently world number one. Sorry, South Africa. I know they're not world champions, so they're not the best team in the world. But they are currently ranked number one. And the famous win down in New Zealand where there was more shithousery from Peter O'Mahony, who I know about his shithousery because I gave him shithousery myself. But he was claimed, but also heard through the ref mic, and calling Sam Cane a shit Richie McCaw, which he is, but that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean that Sam Cane is shit. That just means that he's not as good as Richie McCaw, and no one is because he's the greatest of all time. But as we know, Ireland won that series down there, and it was kicking off on the pitch. There was a load of niggle, loads of stuff was being said. Bundy Aki and Peter O'Mahony were eating chicken wings off people in the streets of Wellington. They were smashed, and rightly so. But now shots are being fired from across the globe on all of this. So everyone's joining in, off the ball, are talking about it. Big shout out to them. I do enjoy their show in Ireland. Controversial, clickbaity at times, but I do enjoy it. So the shots that are being fired from around the world, I've got someone on the show today that currently is holding the rifle and he's fired the latest shot. He's a former All Black. He's doing his thing on the radio with good friend of the show, Stephen Donald, aka the Beaver. And he is, to quote him, and you'll find out who he is very soon, when you fire something, you have to expect a return. Just accept it, mate. Give it a rest. Ireland tend to throw a lot of chat out there because they're winning in between World Cups. But come World Cup time, you don't win. People don't forget when you toured New Zealand and you said some things to our very own All Blacks, the Sam Cane incident. They're going to bottle that up for big occasions. They bottled it up nicely, and you guys bottled it there in the quarterfinals. That's just the way it goes. The great Isreal Dagg. How are you, mate?
Here we are.
Hello, Izzy.
Hey, how are we, team?
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming, didn't you? You knew someone was reaching out.
Of course, mate. I'm happy it's you. I'm happy it's you, mate. How are we?
Very good. Izzy, what have you got to say for yourself, mate? It's blowing up over here. Not in Scotland, but in Dublin. Ireland, it's going mad in Ireland.
Yeah, it's going crazy, isn't it? look, rugby's you get some heated moments, and Johnny Sexton, there was a heated moment between him and Rieko Ioane. I've had one run-in with Johnny on the field in Hamilton when we played them years ago. Can't even remember, but things are said in those heated moments, and I've said plenty towards referees, towards players, and post-reflection, you probably think, I probably could have handled that better. I've got nothing against Johnny Sexton. I've got nothing against the Irish team. I think the Irish team are a fantastic outfit, man. They are innovative. They play a certain style. They've been very creative with the game plan, and they're proven to get results. They can travel globally and win series. So, look, some things that were said were probably pretty pretty harsh and pretty harmful, but that's the nature of the game. I look at it from a lens of rugby's in a precarious place at the moment. We're talking about the game for all the wrong reasons. We're trying to get a global calendar together where we can succeed. We've got our own problems down here in New Zealand. So you can only see this as good publicity, and it sets up an absolute doozy come November when the All Blacks travel to Dublin and take on the Irish team. They'll be keeping receipts and pinning Rieko Ioane's picture on the wall and ready to rip in. But, yeah, like I said, I got nothing against Ireland.
Yeah, I'm loving it, mate. Genuinely am, and it's class to have you on because one, you're a former All Black, and we know how good the team were back when you were in the mixer. But it's just, I love it, like the narrative around it. I agree with you with everything, as you know, with everything around the game and the troubles that we've had. And it's actually really cool. It's really engaging to have a narrative that we can jump on. And we know that Johnny's trying to sell a book, right? He's got this book coming out called Obsessed at the middle of October. He's going to do really well. He's one of the game's greats, but he does divide opinion, right? And there's history that goes with him. Like I heard you mention on your radio show that incident against La Rochelle, his history with Ronan O'Gara. I've got history with Johnny. He might not feel like he's got history with me, but I've got history with him, because I never beat them, drew against them. But there is a real rivalry now that's now forming between the All Blacks and Ireland, right?
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing. Like Johnny, he's a classy player. His records speak for themselves. But there has been instances where, the class has probably been questioned. There's certain memes and images floating around when he's yelling at Ronan O'Gara on the ground, the incident with Jaco Piper, and so on. And then you flip it around, and he talks about that moment and talks about the All Blacks and their credibility and, the no dickheads policy, etc. When there's moments of him carrying on like a dickhead. So, yeah, I just thought it was kind of, polarizing and, to kind of... Ironic, very ironic saying that. But look, he's trying to sell a book. He's created a lot of headlines. We're having conversations. I'm still having conversations. I just had Mark Robertson on our show in regards to that. And look, rugby, we've always been so nice. We've always wanted to be nice, not go against the narrative, be real cliche about it, and don't grow the game. Mate, we've got two villains out there now. We've only got one because one's retired. Mate, I can only see positive from it. Players coming out and just stating the obvious and freedom of speech. So, yeah, look, it's all part of it. I got no qualms with Ireland, but look, in saying that, I've got Irish fans hating on me. I've got South Africans fans hating on me. Today I was going to talk about...
Why are they hating on you? Hang on. Why are the South Africans hating on you? What have you done to them?
You might have to
South Africans.
You might have to go do some due diligence, but on my radio show, my co-host come out and spoke about Rassie and referenced him alongside some certain characters from Star Wars films, etc. Anyway, they blew up.
I did hear it. I heard an apology to no one. Yeah. That's what I heard.
Yeah, look, so... today we could have come out and spoken about this second tier, third tier team coming down from France to play us, but I was thinking, look, I don't want the whole entire Europe to hate on me, so we'll park that for another day. But yeah, look, it sets it up for a big couple of months, particularly the end of year tour. I cannot wait to see it all play out. We've got France, we've got Ireland, and we've got England. Well, it doesn't get any harder than that.
No, it's going to be wicked. It's going to be awesome. And I know it's off the back of a long season and championship for you boys and the South African lads and the Australian lads as well. But that's part of it. Like, you were in it, I was in it back in the day. But I was going to ask you, with Rieko Ioane, you think in the olden days, the media in New Zealand would be all over him. Don't say anything. Don't publish anything. But I know that now there's been a shift with the All Blacks, isn't there, to put themselves out there, the global brand. I know they've got this NZR Plus that they're doing, and they're more receptive to it. But this is a step above, right? I know nothing was said. It was an image with a song, right? But the tone was there, and the emotion was there, and the headline was just in that picture in itself. How would Rieko deal with that? Because I know, chatting to Nick Gill, he's an unbelievably gifted athlete. He said what he said to Johnny, so he's got a bit of cunt about him as well. But how will he be dealing with everything that's happening now? Will he be loving it?
He'll be loving it, mate. That's the Rieko Ioane that I know. I've had my run-ins with Rieko when he's playing for the Blues. You know, he's a chirpy bugger, and he loves firing a bit of chat either way. So I think it was perfect. The song choice, the Joker card. Look, the thing with Rieko, look, he's got a front later in the year in November. You know, it's going to be a big week for Rieko Ioane when they head to Dublin. He's going to start. He's going to be copping it from the fans. They're going to be putting so much pressure on him individually. So, yeah, look, you make a statement like that, you got to walk the talk and you got to back it up. For me, I've got a broken knee and a fat gut, so I don't have to go out there and play. Whereas Rieko's got to play and he's got to go out there and perform. Look, it's gone against the narrative. When I was with the All Blacks, we were always told, do not give them anything. Do not give them anything to pin inside their changing rooms throughout the week. Well, that's flipped. That's changed. And now that we've got...
That's Johnny, mate. That's his people. That's the lawyers. They're onto you.
Holy, what's going on there? That was a random number. That was a random number. They're like, I don't know what's going on there. But, it's totally changed. You know, the rugby is evolving. We're getting left behind from other sporting codes, etc. So let's change the narrative and go out on a limb here and trying to create a story and get us out in the public. That's my philosophy anyway with radio. Look, I've got a freedom of speech.
100%.
You've got a platform where you want to have conversations. This isn't personal. Like, this isn't personal towards Johnny. This isn't personal towards South Africa or Ireland. It's just, I'm having a voice and voicing my opinion, and what I said, I don't retract from, for sure.
Yeah. So you mentioned Rieko needs to back it up when the All Blacks come over, and Ireland's going to be the headline game. I know you mentioned England as well, but we'll go based on Ireland, the world number one, the history now between the two teams. How have the All Blacks been received at home? What are the fans thinking? What are you thinking now in the media of their performances? Have they got enough minerals? Have they got enough skill and depth to be able to come up this way and turn Ireland over?
Well, it's going to be a challenge, isn't it? Even that English series was a bit too close for comfort. But I think we got to give them leeway. They've got a whole new coaching group. They're still trying to figure out their stylistic style of play, what they're trying to achieve, combinations, continuity with selections. We've been able to unearth some absolute talent with Wallace Satiti. I no doubt you would have seen what he's been able to do.
He's class.
A phenomenal player that's come out of nowhere. We've been delving with the nines. We've got a good nine with Cortez Ratama. I think the future is bright. Noah Hotham. Cam Roygar was playing his first game, and he was very, very good at the World Cup last year. So I think the 9 position's probably a position we're starting to see a bit of gain. And then the 10. We've persisted with Damien. And on the weekend, we probably saw what the right formula is with Bowden. He's very astute. He can control the game, picks his moments, can understand what's needed in that moment. And then you get a Damian McKenzie off the bench that provides so much impact. And that's his best skill. He comes on, he plays a free-willing game. And
the World Cup, he was the same. I thought when he came on every time, he looked brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like when he came on, he could just provide that impact and that impetus that is needed. Whereas, at the start of the game, you've got to control the territory, control possession, and pick your moments. I think that final 20. But it's hard to tell. For me, I'm confident. I've got belief in this group that where they're going. We're only like 10 minutes away from beating South Africa a couple of times in South Africa. That is a huge challenge. You know that. So, but I get a sense that the fans and the supporters here, they're just not quite convinced. And that's okay, results speak for themselves. And we lost 2 against South Africa and 1 against Argentina. So this India tour will be a real telling point.
Yeah, where are you struggling? Where's the aura gone from the All Blacks, do you think, from everyone else when they are looking at the team?
Probably just that the bench, understanding your role, what is needed. I think a lot of our players, and I can't claim this, my co-host Scotty Stevenson has spoken about, players wanting to start, and if they're not starting, they drop their heads and they probably lose the sight of what's important to be able to finish a game and coming off the bench. So being okay with your bench playing role, understand your role from the bench, and being able to execute. In the past, we've had All Blacks teams that have been toe-and-toe with opposition for 65 minutes, and then the bench comes on, changes the game, and wins it. So I think understanding your role from the bench, coming on and providing impact, I think that's probably a huge emphasis for this group. And then we've still got positions that I feel haven't quite been filled. We're looking probably for a right winger. Sevu Reece is playing there at the moment. We've got Mark Talia, Caleb Clark sewing up the left wing, Will Jordan sewing up the fullback position. And then if I look in the forward pack, probably in the loose forward trios, 7. Sammy Kane's going to finish. Dalton Papali'i's had multiple opportunities there. Probably hasn't been able to take it with both hands. You've got Ethan Blackadder, who's injury prone, who can show signs there. Do we know Wallace Satiti, who's been playing 6, his best position is 8, so make that shift and then allow Artie to go to 7. I think there's a bit of a conundrum there in the loose forward trio. That's probably the biggest concern for the All Blacks at the moment.
I think something's coming around the corner. I can feel it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that corner looks like. It could be Johnny Sexton and his brothers in Dublin looking for you with your dodgy knee if you're in Dublin. Are you coming over or not?
I want to know, am I still allowed to come to Ireland? I know I can come to Scotland and hang out with you, Big Jim, but am I allowed to come to Ireland? I love that place. I love that. It wasn't personal.
The fans are going to let you go. They're going to let you know in the comments, I'm sure. I'll have you over there. I think they see it. This is what it is. I'm loving it, Izzy. I think it's great. I think it's great for the game. It's great for Johnny's book. He was a shit house when he played. Like, that's what it is. I know he's a decent bloke. I know his brother. I think it's all positive, mate. So are you coming over? Anyway, I'll ask the question. Do you come into Dublin or not? Are you considering not now, maybe?
Well, not now. No. I haven't had any invitations or anything, but if Beaver can travel the world and go to rugby games, I'm sure I can. So I know Beaver's been sidelined with you before, but maybe we need to sort something out. I'd love to come over. Look, there's no hard feelings. It's it's all part of growing the game, and well done for Johnny. He's got the perfect marketing for his book, and I'll happily come over and have a 0% Guinness with a couple of you fans and chew the fat, as they say. Yeah.
Well, I'll be there with you. I mean, it sounded more Russian, that, which is fine, which is political, but I know what you mean. Chew the fat, to say. Something like that. Izzy, mate, wicked to have you. We've jumped on last minute, so cool to get you, mate.
Appreciate your time, man, and thanks for the follow. As soon as you followed, I've had multiple follows this week, and I've had multiple comments on my page. As soon as I saw your follow, I was like, here we go. Big Jimmy wants me.
I follow the radio station. I do listen to the anecdotes and that, and as you know, I'm a big Beaver fan. I love him, and Scotty as well. So, keep doing what you're doing. It's wicked, and we'll get there, mate. We'll get there where the NRL are and the NFL and NBA. We'll be there one day. We might be old and fucked and 2 new knees and hips and shoulders, but we'll get there, mate. So keep doing your thing.